Hello, physiology students. My name is Ross Langston. I am your instructor for the course. This is an online asynchronous course. By asynchronous, I mean that the activities don't have to be completed at any one set time. You don't have a set lecture time, but you do have to complete the things like the quizzes, the readings, the quizzes within a certain time frame. It's just a little bit more flexible than a regular face-to-face course. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can basically reach me at my office. You can reach me by email, but probably the best way to reach me is by cell phone. My cell phone number here is right here, 429-6218, so be sure to jot that down. I really enjoy getting texts and stuff like that. I can answer them very quickly. So if you have a question about a quiz question or something like that, rather than just emailing me, which might take me a couple days to get back to you because I got a glut of email, feel free to send me a text and usually I can get back to you in a few minutes, something like that, or give me a call. Anyway, on the online class, feel free to use that phone number. Okay, if you are visiting me on the Windward Community College campus, you can find me in the Science Building, which is right here. I'm in Emiloa 102. Emiloa is just basically that building in the lower right-hand corner of the map. Okay, before we go to talk about the specifics of the course, I want to ask you, why are you taking this course online? Now, obviously, you're taking this course to fulfill something for pre-nursing or for rad tech or something like that. The question is, why are you taking it online? And there's good reasons, and there's also some very bad reasons. These are the bad reasons. Do not take this class online if this is your first online class. People tend to have to work a lot harder in an online class to get the same grade that they want. And so if this is your first online class, yeah, take something else easier like Health 125 first so you get familiar with how online works. The other thing is, don't take online if you think it's going to be easier than the face-to-face class. I assure you it is not. The average letter grade in a face-to-face class is probably a letter grade higher than it is in the online class for various reasons. Do not take it online if you didn't do well in Physiology 141. If you did well in 141, then you have a pretty good chance of doing well in 142. Do not take it online if you don't have enough time. Again, online classes are going to take you about 5 to 7 hours a week to study in order to do well in the class. And also, don't take an online class if you tend to be somebody that really procrastinates. Okay, so to succeed in the online class, which I'm sure you can, I know you can, you have to be very motivated, you have to have great time management skills, and you also have to have a dedicated computer and know how it works. Some kind of computer that's probably been made in the last 5 years, and ideally you've completed Physiology 141 or Zo 141 with a B or better. You also need to take the initiative to contact me if you have questions about anything in the course. In a face-to-face class, you could just stop me. It wouldn't be a big deal to stop me right after lecture or something, or raise your hand during class. Online, I tend not to get a lot of inquiries from my online students. That being said, there's a certain group of students that are doing really well. Those are the ones that always ask me a question if they don't understand something. So feel free to use that cell phone number and give me a call or send me a text. Okay, the course description in here, I'm not going to go through it. Basically, it's the second semester of a 2-semester course covering the human anatomy and physiology. It's intended for pre-nursing students and also those in other allied health fields. The learning outcomes for this course are very similar to what they were in the first semester. Basically, we're going to be learning about the anatomy and physiology of different body systems. We're going to start out with the endocrine system, cardiovascular system, etc. Now, even though there's a lot of anatomy here, primarily the course is going to focus a little bit more on physiology because the lab class is where we, point things out and say, well, this is an erythrocyte, a red blood cell, or this is a leukocyte, etc. So we tend to do more of that identification in the lab class, and more of the how does it work questions are in the lecture class. So you need to be familiar with the concepts of homeostasis, negative and positive feedback, etc. Okay, so here's what we're covering this semester. Again, we start out with the endocrine system, go on to cardiovascular, talk about blood, we talk about blood vessels, hemodynamics, blood pressure, etc. And then we finish out the semester by talking about the digestive system, the respiratory system, and reproductive systems. Okay, what do you need in order to take this course? Well, first of all, you do need a course textbook, and fortunately the textbook is open access. That means it's available for free online. There'll be a link to it in the week 1 folder, or the folder that says Getting Started. Now, that being said, it is a free textbook. If you have to have a bound copy, if you need, like me, I feel like I have to turn pages, you can buy it online through Amazon, and it's about 50 bucks, which is still about 150 bucks cheaper than the other textbooks. Now, that being said, the textbook is not that great. I would say focus mainly on the lecture and use the textbook to increase your knowledge of that subject. They're really good on some chapters, some not so much. So just be aware there will be some discrepancies between what I teach and what might be in the textbook. In addition to the textbook, you need a reliable computer. That is a computer that's been made in the last 5 years and which you know how to use. And finally, you need very good internet access. I say very good internet access because if you have spotty internet access, or if it drops in and out, it might cause you to miss a quiz or something like that. You do get 5 attempts for the quizzes, but let's say your internet goes out and one of them gets submitted halfway through. I do not reset the quizzes for any reason. So if you have spotty internet, it might be best to take the quizzes on the Windward Community College campus. Okay, let's talk about the course requirements here. So what are you going to do on a given basis? You're going to participate in online lectures. Usually the lectures are about, let's say, 75 minutes. We'll just call them 2 hours. Usually about 75 minutes a week, whereas the face-to-face people get 150 minutes of lecture. That being said, you cannot sit through 75 minutes of online lecture and comprehend anything. You need to take breaks, you need to take notes and pay attention. And so that, will probably take you a couple hours to listen to that 75-minute lecture. Assigned readings, you're going to have a chapter or 2 a week, so that will probably be 2 to 3 hours. Discussion boards are only every 3 or 4 weeks, but on average, it will take you about 0.5 hours a week. So if I can write that down. Okay, weekly quizzes, you can take each quiz 5 times, so it might take you as much as 2 hours in order to get the score that you want on there. So if we look at what we have here for time, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5 hours of time that you need to dedicate to this course in order to do well in the course. So big picture is you have to be realistic about the time commitments for an online course. Okay, as far as assignments in here, like any other courses, we have quizzes, we have exams. The quizzes are due each Friday by 11 p.m. and you'll take 14 to 15 quizzes, and each quiz can be taken up to 5 times. Now, the quiz, you get 12 to 15 minutes to take the quiz, 20 questions, and they come from a very large question pool. And so let's say you take it the first time and get a 7 out of 10 or something like that, and you want to do better. So each time you take it, you could get higher or lower points, but only the highest score is saved. So just be aware that I do drop the 2 lowest quizzes. Let's say one of the quizzes you just forgot to take, or cat threw up on the keyboard, something like that. I do drop the 2 lowest quizzes at the end of the semester. So because I do that, I never ever reset the quizzes. Let's say quiz just didn't work for you, or your internet timed out or something like that. I don't reset the quizzes for any reason, so just keep that in mind. Okay, exams cannot be taken at home. They have to be taken at a pre-approved UH testing center. They're worth 200 points apiece, usually about 100 questions, multiple choice, some fill in the blank, things like that. They are non-cumulative, but they do comprise the majority of the points for the course. So you need to do very well on your exams in order to get the A or B grade that you need. Okay, we have other assignments such as discussion board assignments. We have 3 of these assignments. Basically, it'll take you a couple hours usually to do the discussion board. I tend to post the assignments at least 2 weeks before they're due. So you'll have one coming up in about 3 weeks, and we'll talk about that next week. And for that assignment, you might be asked to generate a YouTube video or something like that. And as part of that, you have to read the discussion boards of the other students and make thoughtful replies on their discussion boards, not just, hey, way to go, but also read the discussion board and make a thoughtful response to that. So I'll have individual, formats or rubrics for each of the 3 discussion board assignments. Okay, and finally, there's something called exam reviews. We have 3 exams in the class, and prior to each exam, I will post something called the exam review. And basically, there's no points allotted to that exam review. but there will be about 70 to 100 questions, and in taking that, you need to get a 75% or greater in order to get all 10 of your exam review points. Now, it shouldn't be that difficult because you do get a 2-hour time block, and it is open book and open notes. So it's just there to help you study and prepare for the exams. Okay, class participation. I do assess your class participation in the online class. The way that I do that is I look at how many times you've taken each quiz, because even if you get a 10 on the first quiz, it's to your advantage to take it again and again as many times as you can, so you can see all the different questions that might be showing up on the exam, and also so you can prepare for the exam, so you can find out the areas that you're not sure on. So if you do take each quiz 5 times, that really kind of lifts your class participation points, as do the number of logins and how often you log in. So I am able to monitor when you log in, how long you've logged in, the frequency of your logins, and so I will use that as a proxy to assess class participation. Okay, there is a limited number of extra credit points for the class. For example, we have 5 for 5 challenges. These are sort of pictorial questions that I send out every week or two, and there will be 5 questions, and you have to basically identify the answer to the question, and you have to respond, be one of the first 5 people to respond with the correct answers, and if you do, you can get up to 5 points for that exam period. So we'll have a 5 for 5 challenge each week. And if you participated one week, you don't get to participate again until the next exam period. So everybody will get a chance for their 5 points. Don't worry about it. If somebody beats you week 1, you'll have a chance again on week 2. There's also a limited amount of embedded extra credit. These are extra credit opportunities that are actually buried in the lectures, and so I put them in there as an incentive for people to actually watch the lectures, and as a way to assess how many people are actually making it through the lectures. Because I know it's an online class, it's really easy just to forget about the lectures, but if you do that, you will not do well in the class. So to encourage you to do that, I'm going to give you some embedded extra credit questions. For example, here's one for this week. Since you have dutifully listened to this intro explanation and presentation, I will give you 2 points extra credit if you basically post a picture on the Dropbox of you with your family or your pets or your favorite ice cream or something like that, just a way so I can learn people's faces and names and things like that. So if you post that by this Friday at 11 p.m., I'll give you 2 points extra credit. Okay, the grading scale in this course is very similar to other courses. 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, etc. You will notice that I do not give end grades. No end grades for this course. So if you're taking this course for a grade, you're going to get a grade. Okay, there are no end grades. Okay, how to succeed in this course. Pretty simple. It's an online course. You need to be diligent. You need to log in daily or at least weekly. You need to read the syllabus. Read it. Understand the deadlines. Make yourself a calendar of when things are due. You need to keep up with the assigned reading, the lectures, things like that. You need to take the quizzes early. This is my #1 suggestion in there, because the people that don't do well in the online classes are people that forget to take quizzes week after week, and they only take it once. They don't learn what's going to be on the exam, and they're not prepared. So take the quizzes early. In fact, right now, after you're done this presentation, take the week 1 quiz. You might say, hey, I haven't studied yet. Doesn't matter. Chances are you'll still get 2 or 3 questions right. And in doing that, you kind of set yourself a little placeholder score in case you forget to go back and take it again. So a 2 or a 3 is still better than a 0. The other thing is, by taking the quizzes early, you can kind of look at those questions and say, oh gosh, what did I miss? I need to go back and study this. The people that have succeeded in this course are the ones that print out all their exam questions, where they copy them and they put them into a file. And they go through there and find out what are the answers to the questions that I got wrong. So that is the earmark of a really good student. Okay, finally, also you need to be very aware of the course deadlines. When are the assignments due? Again, quizzes are due by 11 p.m. each Friday. When are the discussions boards due? So make yourself up a little calendar, and also in that calendar I want you to put in the drop date and the erase date, etc. So you know when you need to drop the course if you're not doing well in the course. Okay, if you have a physical, cognitive, or mental health disability, please contact Dr. Ann Lemke. Her contact information is right there. once you've done that, if she's basically the one that deals with those sort of disabilities, and she will work with me and coming up with an accommodation to accommodate your disability. Sometimes that's just longer time on an exam, etc. But you have to work through her in order to get that exemption. Okay, all the students in this course are also going to be enrolled in something called My Success or Starfish. Basically, it's a monitoring system. At about 3 or 4 times through the semester, you'll get an email from an automated system, but it is from me that basically says, hey, you're doing fine in the course, you're not doing so well in the course, or you need to drop the course. So be aware that I am monitoring your progress, and you can also see your grades in the grade book, but you will be getting an email from that with some advice from me on how to do better in the course. Okay, before we wrap up this presentation, let's go to the LaLima website. So lalima.hawaii.edu. We're going to click first on the Physiology 142 class. That's what we're in. And then if we look there, you can see that there's an intro screen where the announcements are going to be. There's no announcements yet, but they will be there. And then the next thing we want to go to is resources. Resources is where most of the lecture files will be posted. Okay, so this is what resources looks like. You can see that there's a week 1 folder, week 2 folder, etc. The first folder you want to click on is Course Introduction, Getting Started. Once you click on the Course Introduction, Getting Started folder, you'll see 3 or 4 different files in there. One of them is the syllabus. You want to print the syllabus. Read the syllabus. The syllabus is your friend. You also want to go and print out the lecture outlines. The lecture outlines are basically copies of the PowerPoints that are in 6 per page, and so it's a very good way for students to help take them notes instead of just writing them down on a blank piece of paper. But again, you're not required to use them, but a lot of students think that's helpful. Now we're going to go to one of the weekly folders. So I went to the week 2 folder so we can see what documents are in there. So what's in the folder? Generally the lecture files. So if you look here in the week 2 folder, week 2 covers blood. You can see that there's 2 different lecture files, but they're the same lecture. They're just different formats. If possible, always watch the one that says HTML with interactive questions. That's the one that has interactive questions. Now, the questions will be kind of graded within there, true or false, they'll give you a score, but they don't translate into any kind of score for the course. So you don't, need to worry about if you're doing bad on these prep questions. It's not reflected in your score. It's just a way to see how you're doing. If that content is not available, you want to go to the second option here is the YouTube format. YouTube is, again, just posted on YouTube. It's not interactive. There's no way to ask it questions or enter questions, but it can be closed captioned. So if you have a hearing disability or something like that, you can click the closed captioned option and it will actually throw the words up on the screen for you. Okay, last but not least, let's go look at the assignments, tasks, and surveys. Assignments, tests, and surveys. This is where you will go to take the exams and also the weekly quizzes. Again, the weekly quizzes can be taken at home. So let's take a look here. You've got your Chapter 17 Endocrine System quiz. It's due by January 17th. You get 15 minutes for each quiz. That should be more than enough time. And you get to take it up to 5 times. Now, once you take it 1 time, that quiz will somehow move down to the bottom of the screen. But as long as the deadline hasn't passed, it's still there and you're still eligible to take it again. So again, my advice, take each quiz up to 5 times. Okay, so that wraps up this sort of explanatory lecture. Here is just a rundown of your tasks for this week. Again, you want to download and print the syllabus and the lecture outlines. The lecture outlines are about 100 and some odd pages, so just be sure you have enough ink in your printer. You also need to read Chapter 17, so we're going to start covering the endocrine system this week. So read Chapter 17. You want to view the endocrine system lecture. It's pretty long, about 75 minutes, so you want to break that up into 2 or 3 sittings. You need to take detailed notes on this. And finally, you also need to take the endocrine quiz by 11 p.m. this Friday. Now, that doesn't mean start taking it, at 10:30 p.m. My advice, take it now, and then take it again on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then another one Thursday and Friday, and study in between. And that process will help you to do well in an online course like Physiology 142. Anyway, that's all that I have this week. If you have any comments or questions, send me an email, or better yet, text me or give me a call at 808-429-6218. This is Dr. Langston. Talk to you next week.